Hi everybody, my name is Zorikh Lequidre, and I started this fundraiser because I'm fighting against this guy.
Antonio Cook?
Antonio Cook, and what's your relationship with the building?
None of your fucking business.
What's
Joe.
your name? What's your name?
Joe.
No, your name is not Joe.
How do you know that?
You are the property manager, aren't
My
you?
name is Joe.
Are
I'm just here
you
to turn on
claiming
the
you're
gas.
not the property manager?
I'm here to
Are you
turn on the
claiming
gas.
you're not Antonio Cook?
I'm here to turn on the gas.
You're in my room taking pictures of my room. I'd like to know who you are. Yes, you.
Oh no, you must have me mistaken with somebody else.
Really, last time I recall you were Antonio Cook,
I am.
building manager.
Yes.
Okay, so why can't you just say that? So, and you've gotten this, you went and filed the papers to get it out of the vacate order?
If you want to talk to me, you put that away, then you turn it off. I don't need you filming me. You want to talk like a gentleman? You want to try and work something out? We'll do it. You want to be an asshole? Then that's up to you. I don't know what you're trying to do, which is kind of stupid, because you know the situation. You're in court.
I'm not in court.
Yes, you are.
What? I got no papers.
Whatever, fine. So then you have nothing to worry about.
All right.
Go upstairs to your rat hole and leave me alone.
Excuse me?
Okay.
Pero no es ese room, este cuarto.
Todos los cuartos. Todos.
No,
De este piso y del piso de arriba.
it's not for all rooms. It's limited, and it says so. Certain rooms.
22,
Not Todos.
A, B, C, D, and the ones upstairs as well. Including yours, my friend. The cases for DHCR are being reopened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Once that gets thrown out, the SRO situation is gone. And right after that, you all get eviction notices downstairs. Okay? And then you totally fuck because there is no HPD, there is no rent regulation, there's nothing at all. Because as HPD and the building department said, this has to go back to the original state. One apartment.
Now, why are you afraid to say that on camera?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like being filmed.
So
Okay.
can you put that down on paper?
No.
So why are you afraid to put
telling
it
you
down on
this.
paper?
Listen, I'm telling you this as a piece of advice, Zurich. Because otherwise, when they finish the eviction, you're going to be out on the fucking street or wherever else you're going to go. That's why I'm telling you this. Don't you understand?
So
Don't you
because
understand
you
I'm trying
rented
to fucking
something
help
to me
you?
that was illegal,
Oh.
I get evicted?
Okay, no, you get evicted because you fucking call the HPD and the building department. That's why you get evicted.
So you're evicting me for being concerned about the violations in the house? Yes, his name is Antonio Hernan Cook. He is the building manager at 182 Graham Avenue, the building in which I have lived since 1993. I don't live there now, but I'll get to why in a minute. Well, the reason why is basically what this fundraiser is about. I'm fundraising for legal fees involved in the court battle to get back into my home, 182 Graham Avenue, in which I've lived since 1993. And here's why. I'll try to make this quick. 182 Graham Avenue was built in the 1890s or something like that, and was 3 or 4 residential units when a certificate of occupancy was filed in 1988, but by 1993, by the time I moved in, it had been broken up into 10 or 15 individual rooms, each of which shared the kitchen and the bathroom on their respective floors, which is the definition of a single room occupancy dwelling, SRO for short. Now, the current owner bought the building in December of 96, so took possession in 97, when the building was in this condition. And here's the key difference. With 3 or 4 units, you have fewer than 6, and your building is not rent stabilized, so it's easier to raise the rent and evict the tenants and so forth. If the building has 6 or more units and was built before 1974 and any of your tenants have been there for more than 30 days, then those tenants are rent stabilized, it's harder to raise the rent, and easier to evict them. Very long story short, the building owner, Ephraim Jarena of Port Rich Realty, decided to get rid of all the long-term tenants so that he could turn it from 10 units back to 3 or 4, so that he could get it out of rent stabilization, so that he could raise the rent. and hired Antonio Hernan Cook of Urban Properties, a licensed real estate company, though I am filing the appropriate claims to get him unlicensed for these reasons, to basically harass those of us who are still living there out. And I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of what some of those harassments were without all the details, because the details can be found elsewhere. Stolen property, moving tenants from one room to another, illegally renovating one floor and turning it into an apartment, and moving in his insurance guy and his wife, going 3 months without gas, or was it 4 months? Removing the door in the foyer so that we only have one locked door instead of the two the law requires. Accusing us of not paying the rent when we actually did. Once the DHCR determined that this was an SRO and the appeal to say that it wasn't was denied. Making up SRO rules. You can't have more than one room. You don't need a door here. These shelves have to come down. Yeah, making up SRO rules, which then led to the removal of a door, the removal of the shelves, threats to remove non-kitchen equipment, destroying posters hung on the walls in the kitchen. And then, of course, what this all comes down to and what led to this case. Turns out that every housing unit, apartment, room, whatever, if it's an individual unit rented as an individual unit directly from the landlord or something, has to have access to egress, or like a fire escape or a sprinkler system, as well as being able to go into the main hallway and down to the front door. Well, turns out that 5 of the 10 or 15 rooms did not have access to a fire escape or a sprinkler system, mine included. All right. So when that order to repair / vacate order was issued, repair as in fix it so that there were fire escapes or sprinklers or something, Antonio Hernan Cook, known as Antonio Cook to those of us who have to deal with him, just stomped around saying everybody's evicted and we got to gut the entire inside and it's all your fault and how to shoot yourself in the foot in 3 easy ways, and I want royalties when you write a book by that name. Saying that it's us, the tenant's fault, for calling 311 about building violations, which is how inspectors noticed the lack of fire escapes on 5 of the rooms. And the harassments just didn't stop there. In fact, the harassment level was upped as we were trying to pack our stuff to get out. Police had to be called. He called the fire department, etc. He tried to get my stuff out before the time in which I was allotted to get my stuff out had passed.
If it's not, then it goes in the garbage. Be careful.
El
Anything in the hallways goes in the garbage. At 9 o'clock, this garbage will be disposed.
This is not garbage. This is my property. It is in the process of being moved. It is in the process of being moved to a storage space. It is in the process of going to a storage space. You cannot threaten my property. That's harassment while I'm in the process of moving it.
At 9 o'clock, it goes in the garbage.
And you know what he did? He then took 2 of the rooms, fixed them up, put new doors in without filing the appropriate permits for such renovations, without notifying HPD so that they could take the vacate order off those rooms, tried to rent it to me, and when I asked, hey, are you going to fix my room? He says, not unless you get that person who has 2 rooms to get rid of one of her rooms. Well, she'd been paying rent on that room, and there's no rule against having 2 rooms. It's a single room. Yeah, read the laws on single room occupancy. And by the way, are you going to give it to me? What are you charging? What rent are you asking?
The same as we were downstairs.
$600 a month for a smaller room, while I'm waiting for my room to be fixed, etc., 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 etc. There's a lot of etc. in this story. So he rented those rooms to other people. And then you know what he did? When 311 got the word that there were people who had just been moved into rooms that were under vacate orders, then on the day that those people were moving out of the vacate orders, Antonio Cook went into my room and destroyed my property. Not all of it. He tried to do a lot more than he was able to, because I screwed my shelf units and my loft bed into the wall so he couldn't pull them down, but he tried. And he successfully destroyed some of my property. Now, here's the thing. I and one of the people who wasn't vacated and two other of the people who were filed cases in housing court. HP case, which is for the building violations and for the harassments, and illegal lockout, because with his harassment, I'm pretty much terrified to be alone in a room with that guy. And he's the guy who holds the key to my room. So while I'm supposed to have access to my room to continue removing stuff, since he holds the key and I don't feel safe, I'm locked out. Changed the lock, by the way, on the day that I moved out. There's all sorts of stories. I'm leaving a whole lot of details out because I'm trying to get this video done in less than 10 minutes here. They lawyered up. I lawyered up. Their lawyers are more expensive than my lawyers, but they got more money than I do. They got a house. They got a building that they can mortgage. And they're not willing to pay the however much it costs to fix it up so that I can move back in, but they are willing to pay lawyers to keep me out. And here's the funny thing. They are going on this, fix it back the way it was. That's what the DHCR order said when they noticed it was an SRO, to make it not an SRO. And first off, that's not what they said. And secondly, they kind of think that that's going to take it out of rent stabilization, but it won't. There's plenty of court precedent that says, number one, the purpose of these repair orders is not to give the landlord an excuse to evict people. It's to force the landlord to fix things. And secondly, there's court precedent that says even if you take a building that had 6 or more units and you make it have fewer than 6 units, you did not take it out of rent stabilization. So, not only are they trying to do something that's illegal, they're wrong about the reason to do it. And now they actually have filed permits to do the work to remove the partitions that turned it into an SRO and turn it back into the original blah, blah, blah. And I've seen that permit. They checked off a whole bunch of boxes that they shouldn't have checked. They checked them no when they should have checked yes. All right. So they're trying to pull a fast one here. And the other fast one that they pulled is that the HP cases and the illegal lockout cases had been adjourned to March 19th to give them the opportunity to come up with a plan to fix the house to get us back in. But then the COVID-19 hit, courts are shut down, and they're like, oh, courts are shut down, can't do anything. But the judge in the illegal lockout case said, an illegal lockout counts as an emergency. We can do emergencies. We can do this by Skype. And you know what they did? They filed a motion to dismiss the illegal lockout case. And that motion is full of fictions, bullshits, lies, obfuscations, and fabrications. And my lawyer has prepared a legal smackdown that'll have them smell what the law is cooking. All right. He's one crackerjack lawyer, and he's a little bit more affordable than a lot of lawyers that I've talked to. But, okay, I still have a job. My job is an essential job, so I still have to go there 5 days a week. I still get paid. It's a decent job. It's a union job, and I help protect people inside the building from the health dangers that are outside the building. So that's important. But I used to have 2 jobs, and one of those jobs furloughed me. I did put some money into savings, but between these legal expenses and this new apartment that I'm in, which costs more for less space, and about an extra half an hour away from Manhattan than where I was living, that's eating away my savings. And I had actually put that savings away so I could finish some projects and get on with my life and career. But I'm not the only person involved here. There is a gay librarian and a senior citizen Taino out of their affordable apartments, and a woman with health issues who has been traumatized. I'm talking PTSD, clinically certified traumatized by what Antonio Hernan Cook has been doing there. And she's got proof that she's been paying rent on that second room. And I've got proof that I've been paying rent on my room. And I've been in that room since 1993. And I am rent stabilized and they are rent stabilized. And you're supposed to fix the damn building so that we can get back in. not to come up with some sort of plan to make it as it was and say, if you don't like it, you can leave. That's not the way it works. That's not the way the law works. That may be the way real estate, unscrupulous real estate people work, but that's not the way the law works. And why am I holding a fundraiser? Because we need a little money to pay the law bills. Now, if there's some candidate running for office who you'd rather see in office than the incumbent because you think they'll change things away from the way they've been run in the past 4 years, you go ahead and contribute to that cause. If you think that saving the whales or fighting for social justice or Black Lives Matter or anything like that counts more than us four people and justice against this particular building manager and landlord, you go right ahead and do that. Those are all important things, and I won't think worse of you for it. In fact, I'll think better of you for actually standing up for what you believe in and putting your money where your mouth is. But if you got a couple of extra bucks here and can pass them in our direction, then that money will go directly to Gerald Crepel, the attorney who's been helping us, who's prepared the legal smackdown that will just wake people up in the morning, let me tell you this much, and we believe will help see justice in the case of 182 Graham Avenue. Then you just scroll down to the appropriate button on this GoFundMe campaign, or if you're not on the GoFundMe campaign, it is gofundme.com/182 Graham Saga, GRAHAMSAGA, and I think I've got that right there on the screen, okay? And you go press that contribution button right there, and that will help us out greatly. If you choose to be anonymous, that's fine, but if you put your name up, I'll make sure that in videos that I put up about this, you'll be listed as one of the folks who's helped us, in fact. And if you don't believe that I'm putting up videos, go see my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Captain Zorikh, if you're not on it already watching this, or the one video channel that I have actually dedicated to this issue, and that is 182 Saga. And go to the website, 182saga.info, I-N-F-O. And you will see the videos I made. And you'll see how I documented everything from the time Antonio Cook moved into now. You'll see all the Facebook Lives I've been doing ever since the Vacate Order happened. And you will see justice done firsthand. And you know what? I don't know if you know me, but in addition to me being the guy who got slashed on the subway trying to help a fellow passenger a week before this Vacate Order came down, how do you like that? I'm also the guy who made these here videos, which are about medieval reenactments in the modern world, medieval recreations, and competitive medieval armored combat by the U.S. team in the World Championships. You give me $25, I'll send you one of those. All right, so that's what we got. Oh yeah, and one last thing I forgot to mention. One thing we're really trying to do about this is we need protection from Antonio Cook. And you'd think, get yourself an order of protection, but here's the thing, order of protections are a domestic violence thing. Domestic violence means it has to be someone you're in an intimate relationship with, living in with your house, you're married, something like that, brother, sister, father, kid, whatever. But a landlord or a building manager is not your brother, sister, father you don't have intimate relations with and that sort of thing. They don't actually live with you, but they do. Because your building manager has your key. They got a key to the building, and they may have a key to your apartment. All right. Which means they can come into your building. And if they've removed the kitchen door, they can poison your food. All right. They can bang on your door because they only got one door to go through. And in fact, Antonio Hernan Cook has banged on the door of one of our tenants so hard that he broke through the lock of that door. Fortunately, she had a big piece of furniture in front of that door. So he went to the other door and he kicked through a little cap door she had. So people, they were sticking their heads through that door to look into her apartment when she was not there. Okay? And I showed the police the video of him smashing my stuff, and they still won't arrest him. And without an arrest, you can't get an order of protection if it's not a domestic situation. So, we are also trying to get landlord-tenant harassment categorized as domestic violence. That way, tenants can get orders of protection against their landlords and building managers who are violently harassing them. That movement is, and us being able to pay our lawyer, is part of what your contribution is for. All right, then. So that's all I got to say. So thank you very much for paying attention. Go watch the videos, read what we have to say on the website, and I thank you very much for your help. And as I always say when I'm signing off, I love you all. Captain Zorikh's coming at you.
Let me let you know a little secret. That floor is going to be totally evicted. Okay? I'm giving you an opportunity to stay in the building. You might not believe this. This is not going to go well. There's an eviction process that's starting right now.